Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, a podcast reviews of movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 601. I am your host, Alejandro Mendoza, the nerd you're going to hear the host, alongside my wonderful co-host, Brad Young Yoda.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a wonderful Tuesday night.
And this is your review of The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Yeah, for those audio listeners, we did the Nick Cage thing. And before I can start this, Brad, I have fucking missed you a lot, man.
You've been gone a whole week.
Which is unheard of, right?
Yeah, yeah, for you, not for me,
Yeah,
but for you mostly.
yeah. But when my mouth is like swollen like this,
I told you it
and
was going to be that way.
it's I can barely speak without sounding like this.
Yeah,
It's gonna be nearly impossible for
like
me
Sylvester.
to comfortably
Oh, for a fuck
podcast.
of hash.
Yeah, yeah, fucking
For a fuck of hash.
Yeah. So that's where you all are probably wondering are like, where the hell has my favorite podcast that discusses movies been? Well, I went back home, crossed the border, and got my two wisdom teeth taken out from this side. On the camera, it shows left, but it's actually my right side. And I went ahead and did that, and I was fucking going through it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It ain't fun.
it's not fun.
It's not fun
And
when those had to be surgically removed.
so I told Brad, and I even told Brad, "Hey, Brad, let's just do what's it called, a Secret Invasion on Wednesday, and we'll just go from there, and just take a week off, and then take the rest of the week off."
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do a Secret Invasion.
Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. No, I ain't going to do a Secret Invasion. So whether I liked it or not, I had to rest for a week, and I'll tell you this. I have never felt more impatient in my life. I hated not being able to do something at night at this hour for like a straight week, but
So,
I
you
just
still
couldn't
like
do it.
podcasting. So that's what
Yeah,
you're getting at.
yeah, yeah. But also for those of you who think, do they even talk if they're not podcasting?
Oh, yeah,
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 yeah, we
yeah.
were.
But it's
Yeah,
mostly a Raul. Well, I can't say what I usually would send Raul. Let's just say I watch a lot of movies.
yeah, yeah. I watched a lot of TV. I watched.
What'd you catch up on? Oh, you caught up on the bear. That's right.
I'm almost done with the bear. I'm at
Season two.
episode 5, season 2.
You haven't
I
got to see.
watched.
You haven't got to episode 7 yet. The hour-long one.
No, not yet. I watched season 1 of Heels before Mr. Stephen Amell decided to open his fucking mouth. Um, and then I watched all of season 1 of The Bear, and I've watched up to episode 5 of season 2 of The Bear. And yeah, I watched. I think I watched some. I can't remember, man. I was just so out of it, bro. I was like, oh my god. But during that week, I was what's it called, relaxing. I did watch some TV, and Stacy is here with us. Yes, Raul almost learned sign language so he could give the finger to Venom 2 again. I'll go ahead and do that right now. What do you learn sign language for that?
The other fingers for Venom 1.
Yeah, the other one. Yeah, the other one over here is for Venom 1. This is Venom 2,
That's
and then
Raul's
these
review.
two are going to be for Venom 3.
What about Spider-Man 4?
Oh, I don't know, but I did what's it called? I did all that, Brad. And today I was oh no, I was on the SummerSlam watch along, and even then there I kept my talking to a what's it called, to a bit of a what's it called, bit, whatever word I'm trying to think of here. I kept it to a minimum
Yeah.
because I still wasn't feeling the best, but today I'm feeling great. This is no longer swollen anymore. I'm able to eat normally now.
There you go.
I'm still not trying to get anything on this side because
no more soup and milkshakes.
no, I ate sandwiches. Stuff. I'm good. I'm good. Though I am still enjoying the ice cream, but I'm just making sure that I'm eating on the left side of my mouth because I do not want to fuck it up because it's still not completely healed, right?
Yeah. So you don't want to burst
Infected.
anything open. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm doing good. But Brad, I haven't seen you for a week, and I want to know how you're doing.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. To kind of get people to what I watched. I watched this. That's why we're reviewing it. Raul basically said pick 4 movies. I haven't quite picked 4 movies yet, but I did
We'll do
watch.
that after this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did watch this though, so that's why. I mean, and I watched. What else did I watch? I watched John
Fast
Wick
10?
4.
Yeah.
John Wick 4 was very good. I watched Fast 10, which was not very good.
Uh,
So we're probably not going to review those. That's my one sentence for each of those.
yeah.
John Wick 5, if that ever comes to fruition, which I'm sure it will be, I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious, I don't care anymore.
Well,
That was,
so
that
there's
was so
Fast and
bad.
Furious 11 and 12.
Well, there isn't there 10, 10 2, 10 3,
Yes.
or
Well, so like
something
now we're just
ridiculous.
going now we're going about it by Final Fantasy style, huh?
Yeah.
10-2 and 10-3, yes. And then there's a
Hopefully they're like
Hobbs.
Square Enix and they don't get to
Yeah.
it for a while.
There's a Hobbs God Only Hopes. And then there's a Hobbs spin-off film.
Yeah, that was the only kind of interesting thing was actually like, wow, The Rock has been lying this whole fucking time.
No, you needed
Yeah.
you needed to
I'll
come
never
back.
work with Vin Diesel ever again. He's at the end of that fucking movie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we did. You did all that. You watched all that, Brad. You watched anything else?
I tried to watch Jodorowsky's Dune. I
Yeah.
tried to, but that was the one that kind of cut out on me.
Yeah. How much did you?
Uh,
How far did you get into it?
I didn't get very far. I got like 30 minutes in.
That's funny because on my that's funny because I thought you made it,
Uh,
farther in.
no, I only got like 30 minutes in.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we can always get to that. Maybe you want to choose it for this month, but
Yeah.
yes, this month we're just gonna be doing a bunch of random reviews because it is gonna be a different type of month here since we already missed out on a week, so we really can't do a proper theme. So to this week, we're just gonna catch up on movies that we might have not been able to review on the channel or we haven't watched, and we'll go ahead and have a review of it on the channel. So yeah, then next month we'll just go back to normal. We're gonna be doing International Film Month next month, but yeah, for this month we'll have just random reviews, and then we'll have a mini pod that's gonna be for you all, and then we're gonna have a commentary as well. It's just not a specific theme. We're just catching up on things that we've wanted to review on the
Yeah.
channel, but we didn't get to.
Like this movie, which I've been
Yeah,
wanting. I've been wanting to watch and review for a while because it's Nick Cage playing Nick Cage.
it's Fast X2, Lightning's Return, or something like that.
Jesus
Jesus
Christ.
Christ. Yeah, yeah.
Missed you too, Stacy.
Missed you too, Stacy. Missed you too. But yeah, Stacy is commenting on here because he is a lucky patron, and you can become a patron by going over to patreon.com/slash the nerd core and pledging to the $1 tier. At the $1 tier, you get this episode live before anybody else gets to watch it or listen to it, and you get to be part of the conversation with us. But of course, this will be released live on Wednesday at noontime for everybody. So just if you want to be part of the conversation or you want to be catch this early, patreon.com/slash the nerd core. But yeah, Brad, I'm glad to hear you're doing good, man. And I'm glad that we're back to doing this. I did a episode of the Cinema Condition today in person with a professor of mine. So I tested it out today, and I am what's it called, good to go. So
Very nice.
yeah. So I guess let's go ahead and get to doing this, right? Yeah. Once again, the pose for the audio listener. All right, so if you have not watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, you should probably get out of here if you care about spoilers. But if you don't care about spoilers or you've already seen the film, go ahead and stay. Either way, how any of this goes, this is your one and only spoiler warning, and it is in effect in a 5, 4, 3, 2. I need to go ahead and grab this sound. I'm sorry. 1. Yeah, I forgot to do that. But yeah, Brad, go ahead and introduce them to The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
And before I get to that, I forgot one movie to mention that I did watch. That was Equalizer 2. Very good.
Yeah.
So, moving into The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, coming from our one and only source, Wikipedia, is a 2022 American action comedy film directed by Tom Gormican, who co-wrote the screenplay with Kevin Eden. It stars Nicolas Cage as a fictionalized version of himself, along with a supporting cast including Pedro Pascal, Sharon Horgan, Ike Barinholtz, Alessandra Mastronardi, Jacob Scipio, Neil Patrick Harris, and Tiffany Haddish. Filming began in Croatia on October 5th, 2020. The film premiered at South by Southwest on March 12th, 2022, and was released in the United States on April 22nd, 2022 by Lionsgate. It received generally positive reviews from critics with praise for the performances and chemistry of Cage and Pascal, but performed poorly at the box office, grossing only 29.1 million against its $30 million budget.
Eh.
Budget 30 million, box office 29 million. It was, well, we already went through who it was written by. Cinematography by Nigel Buck, edited by Melissa Bretherton, music by Mark Isham, and that's what I got.
Who is this distributed by, Brad?
It was distributed by Lionsgate.
Lionsgate. So that's, is that Universal or, oh my god, because what's it called? It made line. What's it called? It made that 29, but what about the numbers where the what's it called?
I,
The
w-
on demand.
I will say most people, even if they didn't go see this in the theater, they probably bought this online to watch. They rented this online, like I
Yeah.
did.
This one is, I think, no, it's its own thing. It's not, what's it called? Owned by anybody else. It's just Lionsgate.
Yeah, it's like the mini major studio is what it's called.
Okay. Well, I thought it was owned by. So yeah, I mean, it almost made a Well, not almost make it. It almost made its money back.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
then again, like I think the whole point of this movie is to say, hey, we're not really in the '90s anymore. This isn't like Nick Cage isn't this crazy commodity that he used to be,
well, give
but
it.
he's still making really good stuff.
Well, and my take of it, give it 5 to 10 years, it'll be a cult classic.
Oh fuck yeah,
Easy,
yeah,
easy
yeah.
cult classic based on this Nick Cage performance. And Nick Cage, honestly, this is. I think you're right. This is talking back and be like, okay, Nick Cage was a huge star, 90s. So he was. This is probably taking place about 5 to 10 years ago when he was less of a huge star. But my thinking is after Pig and after all the critical acclaim of that, he can pretty much do what Nick Cage wants to fucking do.
Yeah.
And if he wants to
Um,
go hang out with Pedro Pascal for a couple months, then he can go hang out with Pedro Pascal for a couple months.
yeah. But what are your initial thoughts on this movie, Brad?
This movie's great. Um, is it the best thing I've ever seen? No, but is it funny generally? And I love it because Nick Cage is able to make fun of Nick Cage. Literally, like when you have the in real life version of himself kissing the old Nick Cage, that shit's hilarious.
Not just any old Nick Cage, Brad. Wild at Heart Nick Cage. The
Yeah,
Nick Cage that had won an
Nick
Oscar.
Cage. Yeah, just Pedro Pascal's great. The cast is great in this,
Fucking
and
love the
I
cast,
think it
bro.
has a little bit of like they're not that serious about it because they know what they're making. It's an action comedy in a way, but it's Nick Cage starring Nick Cage, and I love Stacy's fictionalized version. No, that's
Fictionalized
fucking
version.
Nick Cage.
I love the shrine, by the way. The whole shrine. Like, he's
Are those
got,
my guns?
and he's got the fucking, what's it called? The sword from Mandy, too.
Yeah, yeah. The
Like,
chainsaw. He's got the chainsaw.
chainsaw from Mandy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I like
It's
this movie has no business being as good as it is.
it's I think you have to come at this with they came at it with humor. Like
Yeah.
it's a humorous film. It's a comedy basically. And if you go with it with those eyes, it actually works well as a comedy.
And like before this, Nicholas Cage, like we were just like going crazy about him in Pig,
Yeah.
and
Pig,
he's
Mandy, I mean honestly Nick Cage is flying under the radar for a lot of people. People probably don't realize it, but Nick Cage has made some great stuff in the past 5 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
But just what I'm saying is just like it's crazy how like before this movie was released, you have arguably I, well, I'm not even gonna say arguably. You have his best performance ever. You know what rightfully should have gotten him that nomination.
Yeah,
Like that pig. Like I get it. Like I love him in Wild at Heart. He's so fucking good in Wild at Heart. He's so good in adaptation. He's so good in all these movies. But in Pig, he is working on a different level that he has never ever worked before. And
and
a year
Pig came
later,
out. Yeah, Pig came out of nowhere because even the trailer made you think it was just John Wick with the pig,
yeah.
and it was nothing like that.
And then a year later, what's it called? You have this film where it's like the juxtaposition between these two films, where Nick Cage is able to tap in one film to like this part of his psyche that he's able to give us his greatest performance, and then in this he's able to kind of like dissect himself, and he's able to like finally kind of cope with everything he's gone through.
Yeah, and poke fun at himself too
Yeah,
while doing that. So yeah,
like
I mean,
the
I think this is another great performance, even if it's just Nick Cage playing Nick Cage.
the whole the whole shootout at the end. It is so ridiculously
Oh,
stupid.
then the editing where it goes into just being a
Yeah,
movie within a movie.
yeah. What? It's so dumb, bro, but it's also so good.
Yeah, it's very funny. I mean, I would watch this again. Like, and I love Pedro and Nick's chemistry in
They have
this
great
because
chemistry.
you literally feel like I don't want to shoot you. I don't want to shoot you either, and you're like, oh, they're best buddies now.
Yeah, God, they're so good. Even Tiffany Haddish, like I love Tiffany Haddish in this movie. Um, and the his chemistry with the what's it called with his wife too in the film and their
Hmm.
kids, like it's all
Yeah.
so good, and like you genuinely do kind of feel this like this character. Nick Cage does feel some like regret for all of the shit that he's had to put his family through.
Oh, and and I think what his daughter brings up, like how he ruined her birthday party because he had to be the center of attention, and
Yeah,
really you can really see the wheels kind of turning, and maybe Nick Cage has done that before because if people didn't know, Nick Cage is a Coppola, so
yeah,
that man's been in a famous family since he was born.
yeah. And it's like then that's the part that I love about, like, this is such a necessary movie in his career. It's like he's finally able to sit back down and he's able to like really like not vent but really take everything in and be like, wow, so like I really had to go through all this to kind of reinvent myself with these other films, and now I'm able to finally like take on these really serious projects, but I'm also able to take on these projects where I'm having fun, but I'm
Hmm.
also kind of reminding myself like, wow, there was a point in time where if I did a project like this, people would think it's the worst thing ever made. And
Yeah,
it's
I mean people would have definitely said Nick Cage sucked in it. I mean there were some role. I mean there's some roles like The Rock
yeah.
where he just overly exaggerating his playing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but you look at other roles like Gone in 60 Seconds, you look at Mandy, you look at Pig, you look at all these other roles, and he plays it perfectly. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know what else to say. Nick Cage is a good actor.
Nick Cage is
That's
great, man, and
yeah.
he shows it. Like,
Oh,
who
Con
can
Air.
say
Con
that
Air
they're
was great.
who says that they can play themselves and be able to you know dish out everything you're seeing in this movie,
Yeah,
and
very very
so
few
honestly.
actors. Yeah, very few actors can poke fun at themselves too.
Yeah, yeah. And he does it in this movie, man. He really does. He just like goes all out for it. um I think so, like I said, like the movie's not amazing, it's not great. It does have a little bit of issues here and there with
Yeah,
the pacing and stuff like that, but I think that overall the best parts of this movie are, of course, Nicolas Cage's performances. Anytime he's on screen with Pedro, is just
it's funny.
freaking beautiful.
It's
It's
great.
great. The whole time you're to think that Pedro is the guy who's like in what's it called, causing all the trouble,
Yeah,
and then
it was yeah, but you come to a point where you're like, this man is not the head of a cartel or anything.
hell no.
Hell no, he's just trying to. No cartel, like no cartel leader would be like, Mr. Nick Cage, can you please read my script?
Yeah. Also love how they watch Paddington 2 with each other.
Yeah, like what's the greatest film? Paddington 2.
Yeah. Like the cabinet of Dr. Caligari and the Barrington. But yeah, man, I love this movie, man. It's so much fun.
I mean,
And
and music wise, I think music wise it was on point.
oh hell yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I believe so too.
I'm
Yeah,
just thinking of the scene where he accidentally takes the drug. And we've seen scenes like that before. Like, where in comedies where they accidentally take the drug and their limbs go numb and they have to crawl over, but seeing Nick Cage do it is just in a whole different manner.
yep. Oh man, what a great movie, man. It's one that I do believe that this is gonna be a what's it called, a cult classic. I
Definitely a
think
cult.
give it a
Like
couple
Mandy.
years.
Give Mandy will be a cult classic. This is gonna be a cult classic. Nick
Yeah,
Cage. Nick Cage is back.
yeah. He's got a new movie coming out soon with well, it's in post production, but he's done it. He's doing it with his really good Norwegian director who put out a really fucking good movie last year.
See,
Uh,
and when you get to the status of Nick Cage, you can that's what he's doing. He's picking and choosing movies.
yeah, he's picking and choosing, man. He's had the chance to what's it called he's reinvented himself, bro. Now he's able to choose those passion projects that he wants to work on, and he's also choose stuff like this where it's like, hey, I really want to do this role that really challenges me, but it's also kind of fun and something that I would really like to play. You know,
I, I do have a question though.
what's
The
up?
writers on this. Do you think the writers before they even started writing this went to Nick Cage and asked if they could write this? Because if
More
they
than
wrote
likely,
this and
Brad.
then brought this to Nick Cage and Nick Cage just passed on it, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this, especially because it's produced by Nick
Yeah.
Cage.
That he had to have something before they even started writing this.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably a little input, especially into how Nick Cage behaves.
Yeah. Though it says here that it says that this plays a little it bores little resemblance to his real off-screen personality.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe it's the personality that we think he has, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
Maybe
I
in the public eye what he has. Um but yeah, maybe maybe he's just likes to stay at home and drink tea. Maybe he's like Keanu.
yeah. Well, Brad, Stacy says, just gotta hope you're still around for before I leave too. Did I leave the stove on? Shut up, Stacy. Shut the fuck
Did I
up.
leave the stove on?
It's still on. Brad, what is your final verdict on the unbearable weight of massive talent?
I'm gonna give the unbearable weight of massive talent a very good 8.5 out of 10.
All right, man. Hey, that's a good score, right? That's a pretty good score. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and give the unbearable weight of massive talent. If I remember correctly, hold on. I'm
He's
trying to
gotta
look
look at his
back.
letterbox.
Yeah. Can't remember what the fuck I think about this, bro. Yeah, it's got 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
It's a damn
that's
good
really good.
movie.
That's really good for rolling
Yeah,
comedies.
I enjoyed this movie, and
Yeah,
let's go. I'm surprised I still don't own it physically. I really do like this movie, bro.
I mean it's funny. I showed
Yeah,
my dad the trailer for this thing, and he was laughing.
yeah, it's so stupidly funny, bro.
It's stupid and
Yeah,
funny. Like I don't know, and I Pedro Pascal can do no wrong. I think
no,
he was an Equalizer too. I didn't know this. He was in Equalizer too, and I was like, hey, it's Pedro Pascal.
yeah. I just want them to, I want to see more of them watching Paddington 2, bro. I can't wait I can't wait if they ever make a sequel to this where they watch Paddington 3.
Christ.
Yeah,
Do you just want to like them watching it and then just behind them over the shoulder,
yeah,
and you want close-ups that like the
yeah.
really like
The same
memorable
shot that I
scenes?
got in Before I Leave, Brad, when they're in the theater. I
Yeah.
want that for just a whole feature length of that
Okay.
them watching Paddington 2. Yeah.
The Shia LaBeouf just crying.
Yeah. All right, man. That concludes our review of The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And if you would please go ahead and keep up to date with us on the nerdcore.com, Twitter at the nerdcore, underscore Instagram at the nerdcore, patreon.com/the nerdcore. At the $1 tier, you get this episode a day early. and you get to be able to watch it live and talk with us in the chat. And of course, if you want to talk about this film with us, make sure you check out our Discord link. It is in the description below. And of course, please leave a comment on this video. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the unbearable weight of massive talent. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure that you leave a like, you subscribe to the channel, and you click that notification bell so you don't miss a single piece of content that drops on the channel. Make sure that you're also leaving a 5-star review on our audio podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. It is all very much appreciated. And of course, Brad, we would like to thank our patrons because without them, it's not possible. And especially our producer, Shane. Where can they find him, Brad?
You follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/XSRK or on Twitter at ThriftedIL or go buy something from the Suppy God at PrisonCityVintage.com.
Damn straight. And of course, we're not doing an episode on Thursday. We're what's it called? I'm going to be doing a cinema condition episode with Brad, so we're going to be doing that this week. But we'll be back for another review on well Tuesday for the public, Monday for the patrons, and I believe on Saturday or Sunday we will be doing the season finale of Secret Invasion. I haven't watched it. I've still downloaded on my iPad, so I will get to watch it when I can. But for now, Brad, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Mm.
Oh, I'm Nick fucking Cage. All right, Brad, go ahead and send them out.
All right, Raul. Thank you, being host as always. Thank you to Stacy for joining us in chat. Thank you to all the listeners out there, all our patrons, supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. And in this episode, all I got to say is Nick Cage smooch is good. Young Yoda out. It's grotesque. I'll give you 20,000